Furniture and shipping as a competitive advantage, they rarely go together. Bulky, costly, fragile, but it can be done. Just ask Freedom Furniture. Partnering with Ship It, they've saved a massive 20% on freight costs across Australia, and that's just the start. With Ship It's API integration, Freedom is easily managing multiple locations and saving big while doing it. They've automated fulfillment for over 50 stores and 100 dispatch points and streamlined their operations. Add expanded carrier options across Australia and New Zealand, and it's no wonder they've reduced cancellations and improved customer satisfaction. Want to optimize your fulfillment and delivery operations? Visit shipit.com to find out more and turn delivery into your competitive advantage.
Welcome to The Checkout. We catch up with previous Add to Cart guests and ask them 5 quick questions to get to know them better and leave you with a little extra inspiration to get through your Friday. Here's your host, Bushy.
Today's Checkout features Jason Thomas and Cale McPherson, the creative duo behind Sodii, the Aussie electrolyte brand that's redefining hydration with science-backed innovation and premium ingredients. From converting chest freezers into ice baths to championing bold branding choices, we chat about everything from the inspiration behind shaping their brand to the lessons they've built from building Sodii from the ground up. Jason and Cale, welcome to The Checkout. Thank you for joining us today. We had a brilliant main chat back a couple of weeks ago where we talked about all things, which I never thought we would on Add to Cart, all things salt and where you source salt from and what salt does to the body, as well as some amazing tips around building brand through performance marketing and your new strategy around retail and wholesale distribution. So thank you very much for that. But I have 5 quick questions for you to learn a little bit more about you guys. All right, question number 1. What is the weirdest thing that you've ever bought online?
Oh, mine would be a couple of years ago when I was buying I wanted to make an infrared sauna at home, but I wanted a full spectrum one. And I was buying full spectrum infrared globes, but to get I've actually got one sitting here, the socket that had enough wattage to it, I had to actually buy reptile heating lamps that wouldn't short circuit my house. So I had these reptile kits rocking up. And I remember someone was there going, why is there reptile gear rocking up to your house? And I had to sort of explain it makes sense. It's for a sauna, it's full spectrum, and then so that'd be it.
Just putting reptile gear into my sauna.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, mine's pretty similar. I mean, to be quite honest, my now wife made a reference to this in our wedding vows that, you know, she's constantly supporting the weird things that are rocking up to the house betterment of myself. But yeah, literally bought a chest freezer, which doesn't seem right, but when people come to our house, it's converted into an ice bath with a water filter and thermometer and everything like that. So it's not your average chest freezer. It's now an ice bath, you know, that sits in the shed.
Look at you guys hacking your way to better health.
Trying.
Ice baths. Good work. All right, number 2. Which retailer has inspired you most recently?
Oof. Tricky one.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, in the same sort of vein as us, I really admire what Chief are doing from pretty much use a lot of their products. So they sort of sit in the same performance product space as us, but they're definitely catering to a market where they started their products with the animal meat focused bar, which sort of very similar to us in the sense of reframing a category. Those sort of protein bar spaces as, you know, junk filled, get all the sugar in, get all the whey protein in and just fill it with a lot of stuff. They kind of flipped it on its head and created a really unprocessed bar that was obviously backed by meat. They became really successful on that. Now have launched a whole bunch of products on the back of that, whether it be collagen bars that are actually super delicious. All sorts of things. So yeah, we're big fans of their products, and I personally am as well. So really just love watching them grow and doing what they're doing.
Yeah, mine would be, I'll go a slightly different direction with it. Mine would be all these sort of niche or smaller shoe brands that are starting to pop up, that are really starting to take some of the market from the big players, Nike, Adidas. You're sort of seeing the Sauconys of the world almost become like a fashion icon. that baristas and people walking to cafes are wearing to these smaller trail hoka brands that really start to take a chip at these big brands. So sort of how they've done that is always interesting for me to look at. So it'd be, any of those smaller shoe brands that have gone up against the big guys.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see you've got the challenger mindset that you love getting in early and the innovation and pushing the ideas and finding, your strong advocates early. That seems to resonate with you.
Yeah, we used to say to each other early on when we're doing something, we were like, there's always a better way to do something. Like, there's got to be a better way to do it. And that's sort of,
I can imagine the flip side of that is that you must get frustrated, especially in the health space, when you see new brands pop up, especially maybe influencer brands and people like that who are launching products, health products, that are just shit.
To put it nicely, we laugh on a sort of daily basis when we see products pop up that may not have done the hard yards of figuring out what's actually going to move the needle, in someone's health and well-being, or not actually going to move the needle in sort of a market. The health and well-being space is a exciting and also challenging space because there's always new ingredients, new trends popping up, new people promoting whatever it is. And people can get lost in that, I think, and sort of create a whole brand around this one sort of small 2-week trend, and then all of a sudden that trend actually doesn't really do anything, or that special ingredient turns out to be XYZ. So I think it's challenging to sort of actually figure out what works, what's a trend, and what's actually important to someone's health, and then sort of the rest. Once you've changed someone's health and sort of daily energy levels, whatnot, the rest sort of speaks for itself.
Yep, makes sense. All right, number 3, name a piece of tech that you or your e-commerce business couldn't live without.
Where do we start? I could name heaps. Obviously, we're a design branding background, so we're heavily in the sort of design software tech space. So we bounce between the Adobe suite to Figma is a big one we use. We use even the FigJam portion of that for all our brainstorming strategy sessions. Even all of our sort of documents and anything needs to find is in Figma. We kind of use that almost like a secondary Google Drive for anyone to find stuff. So probably couldn't live without Figma, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then I guess following on from that, like early on it's big, but sort of later in the stage it's even bigger. What we've found recently is we use Klaviyo, but I mean sort of any sort of email software, the value that is built from those email like direct communication, we kind of have always said that if Facebook and Instagram get turned off tomorrow, what do you have and who are you speaking to? The email database is one of those things that it's such a great way to communicate with customers and get that educational point across, like we kind of spoke about. So Klaviyo for us is huge.
Good one.
Beautiful. Klaviyo is a friend of the show. Can I get from you one tip from out of Klaviyo, one feature, one tip that you're loving that you go, anyone with it has to do this?
Stacking those the email flows and building them out to a near precision is kind of like what our team really spend their time doing. I think it's really cool to navigate someone through that flow. If you send out sort of that general email advertising, 10 steps about hydrating this summer or something like that, to segment into, who read it, who didn't, what to send them if they did read it, what to send them if they didn't read it, and sort of working down. You can send sort of 5 or 6 emails off the back of one email just to gauge interest and sort of navigate them through. We're very, very lucky that most of our customers are if not already customers, are very, very warm customers, so you don't have to get too far into that. But we're sort of always amazed that our warehouse gets very angry at us when we send out emails because it turns
they have to do some work.
Yeah, it turns a busy day into a maybe not going home today kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Mum would be pushing the design as well, just look up some basic design principles. Klaviyo is great and all those platforms are great, but if you're kind of using off-the-shelf templates, you can kind of run into some problems. So just research some basic design principles and actually think about the purpose of the EDM and structure your design and hierarchy of information in a way that reflects the purpose, and then combine that with an external design platform, whether it's Figma, Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever you've got, to really elevate the designs, because in a world of EDM rampage, especially through those sale periods, you need something that's going to feel refreshing, it's going to stand out. So just combine some basic design principles with an external design program to make your EDM stand out.
Great tips, guys. I love it. Thank you. All right, number 4. Can you recommend a book or a podcast that our listeners should immediately get into?
Yeah, I'm a big, and I probably quote it too much, I'm a big Seth Godin fan, so any of his books is a must read. I just think the way he talks about marketing and intertwines it with a brand and business sense is just super important for someone to read, especially in the world of performance marketing, where you may be told that Facebook ad performance is the only driver of business, where Seth communicates that these are only channels. Marketing is much more than digital marketing. It's create a marketing plan and then utilize these channels off the back of that, and then sort of embed your whole brand and values and all of that through those channels. So any of his books is great. His latest one, Strategy, is phenomenal. It's just individual points and paragraphs of lessons that he's learned over his years of educating people, and you can just pick up and read any page and learn a point and then figure out if you want to implement it or not. It's it's really good.
Great tip. I saw Seth speak late last year, and it just reminded me again to go back to the books because I haven't read them for 5 or even longer, 10 years. And I'm like, I've got to go back because while the world moves on, his principles actually don't.
Timeless. Yeah. His principles sort of sit above the trends of marketing. Yeah. So you can just adapt what they push it down into those marketing trends or channels. So yeah, just amazing stuff.
Yeah, good.
Very cliche, but like Start With Why was very much a blueprint to starting our brands, and even it formed part of the ethos of like our design agency and speaking to clients. And you would be surprised at how many people obviously haven't really dived into that sort of level of thinking, especially around like early on in their business journey and like before even sort of product hits the ground. Again, there's not too many people that wouldn't have heard of sort of Simon, but definitely starting out that book, just grasping that concept and not just manufacturing it, but reading it 3 times and then really, really understanding why we spoke about this kind of earlier. Don't just bring another shit product out into the market. Work out why you're doing it, for who, and what problems are you going to solve. And I think that, is a blueprint to success.
I love that. I did have a chuckle when I was looking at the Divide Agency website, and one of your call outs or one of your principles is the world has enough shit stuff. And I thought that was very nicely put.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it goes back to it. There's no shortage of products or businesses out there. Very few of them actually are relevant and move the needle for someone. So it's just a principle that we think about. If you're going to do something, do it right, do it with purpose, do it with reason, because it's going to be better in the long run.
Last question I've got for you, gents. What is your biggest challenge today?
I'll go. Holding stock at the moment is our biggest problem. We're sort of increasing production every month and sales go up at a higher rate. So we're having trouble holding on to stock in the warehouse, which is a good problem to have. Rather have that problem than trying to sell stock going out of date. So it's putting a few things in place now to get that humming a little more, just so we can have a bit of stock runway in the warehouse. So that would be my one.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's
it's a good problem to have stock moving quickly, especially if you're going to keep rebranding the packages.
Exactly, yeah. Definitely.
And a hot warehouse too.
Yeah.
Mine's probably a bit more personal. I've got a 9-week-old newborn at home for my first child, so balancing that and startup life is challenge is the wrong word. It's more of a great thing to be working out how to be a dad. And
that's a big fucking challenge.
Run a business. I don't think we'll ever work it out, but we'll give it a crack.
How nice. It does bring a new perspective to it all, though, doesn't it?
Huge, yeah. And just how you go about interacting with your team and all that kind of stuff, it just makes you, more appreciative of everyone and definitely of their time. And you definitely want to get home a little bit sooner, that's for sure. But
beautiful. I love it. Jason, Cale, thank you so much for joining us on the Checkout.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
To hear more from Jason and Cale, jump back into our main episode where they share the amazing story behind Sodii's initial growth, from grassroots Facebook groups to being stocked now by over 650 retailers, and we hear why they're obsessed with educating Aussies on the real science of salt. Trust me, I learned a hell of a lot about salt.